Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is Tyrone McClendon, 1/3 of the Clocked In podcast, and you guys are now tuned into another episode of the Snooze Button Specials, the interview series where I sit down with the creative people around Atlanta and get them to tell me their stories about their lives and their things that they do. Still haven't got that intro down, but we're back at it again with another episode. How are you guys doing on this Friday morning, evening, night, whenever you decide to listen to this? Your boy's been out here active. We've been out here just really on this podcast grind, I guess you could say. I'm really enjoying it, man. This is the life. This is what I'm meant to do. This is my calling, as some people would say. But realistically, it's so much fun. This is like, I just love meeting all these new people and all these artistic people just doing all the shit that they love to do. It's infectious, man. It rubs off on you and you can't help but be inspired. Let's see, just some like quick announcements or housekeeping things or whatever people say. With the Reach TV, we just recently put out our mini doc on the Red Bull Mind the Gap competition. It's called Close the Gap. Basically my directorial debut, something light. So that's out now on the reachtv.net. And it's also available on YouTube on the Reach TV. And you can also watch some of it or see clips and pictures on the Reach TV on Instagram. So please, if you support me and you support what I do, just go watch it. That's really all I'm asking. Go watch it. And if you really like me, you can share it. Same thing goes with the, leaving the rating and comments and all that shit on Apple, iTunes, and SoundCloud, which nobody really does, but it's fine. I get it. It's just something people say. Still no ads. That's really all I have to say about me. My guest for today is another part of my trying to collect all the DJs around Atlanta. I got my man Popstar Benny in the house. Popstar came into this year dropping an EP just called 2020, and that was my first introduction to him. That was the first time I'd ever heard. I'm pretty sure I'd heard the name Popstar Benny around, but that EP specifically was my introduction to him sonically. And from that point, I was just like, bro, I gotta have him on. And he had Kenny Mason on a song, and as you guys know, I am the president of the Kenny Mason fan club. So anybody who's associated with him, I'm automatically like, all right, man, I'm on your side. So that's how we're running that. Man, Benny came through. Tall guy, man. Tall guy. I don't know how many of you have met him in person. I mean, he goes on to say in here that he likes to keep that as like his, thing, his special thing. If you ever meet him in person, you just know how tall he is. Man, he had to duck to get into my house. But funny guy, man. I think we both related. I think we're both music nerds. I didn't really get to see how big of a nerd he was, but I'm pretty sure, man. I don't know. That could just be the glasses talking, but we had that connection, man. It was a bunch of laughs, real funny time. This, I will say, it's kind of spotty. Like I'm jumping all over the place as far as like trying to keep a cohesive story within my questions or a direct line of questioning. We're all over the place with it, but I don't think it really matters because the conversation was just so fun and fluid and so organic that I don't think it really matters. I think you still get the good gist of who Benny is and where he comes from and just, his passion and his drive and things like that. So I was really excited to have him up here, man. I really think you guys are going to enjoy this. Let's see. Next week, our next episode, our next guest is going to be, drum roll please, it is going to be Mr. Suave. That is right, Suave. He is the one and only signee to Metro Boomin. Another one of the great artists coming up out of Atlanta. Had him on the show, but we're looking forward to that. But that's next week's episode. This week is all about my man Popstar. I wish I could have got him to send me his tag because I damn sure would have put that shit in the beginning of this. But you gotta work with what you got, so it is what it is. But without further ado, I've done enough talking and all that for this intro thing, so I'm just gonna get into it and let you guys enjoy the conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Mr. Popstar Benny. Oh, thank you. Well deserved. Benny, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me.
No problem. This is why I love the internet because it's literally just like anything can happen at a snap like that. I'm actually fairly new to you, if I do say so myself.
That's cool.
I first saw you, or just recently I saw you had released an EP. What is it called again?
It's called 2020.
2020.
Released in 2019, but 2020.
Hey, man, levels or whatever.
Foreshadowing,
But
facts.
I saw that, and I am probably the number one president of the Kenny Mason, David the Tragic, Jelani fan club.
Yeah, that's
so
a whole
anything that
scene.
they put out, I'm like, okay, let me go see about this. And then I saw that they were on your EP,
Yes, sir.
and then I just listened to the whole thing, and I was like, wow, I'm like, this he's up to something.
Thank you, man.
So
I appreciate that.
yeah, and I wanted to just meet you in person and just pick your brain, and you seem like an interesting guy, so I figured why not bring you on. So tell me, how has everything been for you?
Things have been pretty good. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been the tail end of 2019. I've really been locking in, focusing on music, focusing on meditating super heavy. But yeah, just getting my mind right and ready to take over 2020, try to take over the world basically.
Right. And I guess I sort of went over, but tell the people what exactly that you do.
I'm Popstar Benny, and I produce, I DJ, and I graphic design mainly. And then just a lot of the side creative stuff that I'm able to do, I do it. But yeah, mainly just DJ.
Modern day Renaissance man.
That's it.
Tall.
Yeah,
that
extra tall.
doesn't translate through the mic, but I don't know what I'm ever typically expecting when I meet somebody. You never really know. The internet provides some sort of distortion.
True.
And yeah, he came around the corner and he stepped down 2 stairs, and I was like, wow, he's still up there. How tall are you?
I am 6'10", and my height is definitely I honestly, I consider that a secret type thing. Basically, if people, I feel like everyone who has met me at least once, is part of that secret club that knows I'm super tall. And everyone who hasn't met me yet doesn't know it.
They're in for a surprise
every time.
What is it with producers and being really tall? 'Cause you're tall, Kenny Beats is tall, Sunny Digital's tall. Everybody's so tall.
I don't know, man. Maybe I don't know, maybe being taller gives you closer access to different musical notes or something.
I know you get this question a lot, but did you ever play sports?
I never played sports ever in my life. I never was a sports kid, honestly.
Really?
Ever. Not
even the Pee-wee, none of that?
None of that, man. I just wasn't into it.
I can understand. I was tall enough growing up. It wasn't really until middle school when people really started getting tall. But I was tall enough for a long enough period where everybody was like, "Oh, you gonna play basketball? You should do this and do that." And it's just I'm literally the most unathletic person in the world. But I did play some sports. I played baseball.
Okay.
I didn't make the team in middle school, but I tried out.
That's good. I'm proud of you. That's a step above.
And I made the soccer team in high school only because they needed people on the team.
Hey, now you made it though.
Hey, varsity.
Ooh.
Okay.
See, that's scholarship eligible. That just puts you forward.
Now, granted, I ended up becoming a team manager because I didn't want to pay the dues. But hey,
that's real.
I still got a letter and all that stuff.
Fresh. Hey, man, that's all the benefits. That sounds like a win to me.
Hey, man, that sounds. But tell me about you from the beginning. So, where are you from?
I am from. I was born in Warner Robins, and then I lived in Macon for 2 or 3 years with my grandparents, and then because my family was in the Navy, we moved to Connecticut for 2-3 years, and then when I was 5, I've lived in pretty much Cobb County ever since.
So since you're 5, it's basically been Cobb County and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What was what was it like for you growing up early on? Was music big in your life?
Yeah, music was pretty big because it's at first I was really into I've always been into video games and stuff. I feel like that's definitely shaped my musical influence. But it was really the main music moment that really struck me that I'll never forget is when I was in 4th and 5th grade, getting ready for school in the morning. MTV used to have the
videos playing.
Yeah, they used to have videos playing. So then it was It was the Gorillas.
Feel Good?
Feel Good Inc. Yes, sir. And I don't know if it's because like the video was a cartoon, or it's because the song, or maybe a little bit of both. But like, I would just get exposed to like mad different types of music through that. And then I asked for that CD. Like that was the first CD I ever got, and that CD definitely was like pretty eclectic. The Gorillas, Demon Days. So yeah, I feel like that was a pretty strong early shape. I used to walk around with like a CD player and listen to that all the time.
Yeah, dude, you're preaching to the choir. I very much remember that. Those were some formative years when MTV and VH1 used to actually play the videos. Yes, that shit. Yes, man, that was, and I credit that as really like, because I was like, as I was getting older, I was like, why do I feel like my music taste isn't as broad as it used to? But then I thought about it. It was those music videos. I remember. I don't know. I was probably like in first or second grade, and I used to go to daycare in the morning, and we used to watch TV in the morning, and they used to like flip around, and when they get to the videos, I'd be like, nah, bro, we gotta stop here. But what were some of the early music people that you were really like gravitating? I mean, obviously was it the Fall Out Boys and stuff like that?
Well, definitely. I mean, because a little bit earlier than like fourth and fifth grade, because I feel like fourth and fifth grade with the MTV eras when they got like super diverse and widespread. But as far as even before that, I just used to, my parents used to listen to a whole bunch of music. Like my dad especially, he listened to a whole bunch of Southern, like rap and like Miami bass and stuff. So that would shape an appreciation for stuff. But I think me personally, just stuff out here on the radio, but Kanye definitely stuck out to me early. I was a pretty big Kanye fan. And then Pharrell definitely stuck out to me early. Even before I really realized, what producers were, I would always just like the songs he was on, even though when I grew up, I learned that he was producing them. But I just always appreciate the songs and features that he did. And yeah, definitely those two.
Yeah, I'm noticing we kind of have parallels in like our journeys with our relationship with music. So let me ask you this. So, you're hearing just all these things and just like passing and everything, but you're appreciating them as you're young. But at what point do you really start to like listen to music like differently? Does it like start to be like, oh wow, they're actually making like art?
I think I started listening differently probably about, it was probably in middle school, like 6th, 7th grade, because that's when I started learning the internet and how to like illegally download music for sure, pirating.
Yes.
The best thing that ever happened to the world. So yeah, definitely at that point I would get like, I started just checking out anything that I could find on LimeWire. I would just start listening to heavy. So that would definitely shape the way I listen to shit. Yeah,
I was late to the downloading music. My mom was real strict on the like. She didn't let me download anything on our computer. I couldn't even like play like games. Couldn't even download stuff. So I was late. But luckily, I possibly saved our computer too. Because I hear a lot of. Did you kill your computer with LimeWire?
I didn't kill it with LimeWire. I was actually lucky. I never got I never got virus, and I also never got one of those Bill Clinton. I never got one of those Bill Clinton's speeches one, or I never got the ones where it was cranked at but named a different song. I mean, I don't know, maybe because I got into it a little later, so I don't know if it was like cleaned up maybe, or if I just had better gauge. But yeah, I really never. It had too much issue.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had any bad luck with illegal downloads. I think the closest thing I've ever got is when I tried to download like Watch the Throne one time, and like somebody like it was literally just like a folder that was just like haha or some shit like that.
Nah, shit like that would happen, especially or like with leaks too, where someone would say it's a leak out and it really just be a old. Then that'd be grimy. Like people, I've seen that for when Tyler the Creator, I think Goblin, when that was supposed to have leaked. Like someone just took they took the track list and took random MP3s and renamed each MP3 like some. So then when they put the screenshot and download up, people would think, oh, I mean, it's 15 tracks or whatever. They all have the right names. You play it, and it's just some random shit.
That's the worst. I hate that on SoundCloud now.
Yeah, that's pretty whack.
That is so disrespectful. First of all, let me just say, the SoundCloud app, like on the phone, literally one of the worst apps ever created.
It's a little decent if you do the subscription, the little SoundCloud.
See, that's how they get you. That's how they get you.
That is, they bully you with a terrible experience to pay for the subscription.
Because I don't know what it is about like even just the simple search engine. You could like look up a song that for a fact is on SoundCloud, and you'll look it up, and it'll just be like, it'll never come up.
That's true.
But that is the most like kick in the gut thing when you try to find a song and you're like, yes, this is it. And then you click it and it's some random person just like singing. I'm just like, do you want me to not like you? I don't understand. What is the thought process behind that? Like, it really irks me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go off like that. But
that's whack though.
But when did you first start getting into like SoundCloud?
I started getting into SoundCloud probably about like 2013, 2014. Yeah, 2013, 2014. Because I was like, around 2013, when I was like a freshman in college, I started listening to a whole bunch of like these EDM guys who were doing this pretty cool stuff, like Cashmere Cat and like Lunas and Tonight and stuff. You know, they would be doing like really cool remixes of like songs I was listening to, and you know, they'd upload them for free on SoundCloud. So just through that, I would start getting on that heavy. And then, you know, seeing rappers and stuff, you know, it just started picking up in prominence. So I was like, let me toy around with it. And then I started dropping stuff. So it was pretty cool.
When did you first start getting, I mean, we're jumping all over the place.
Yeah,
but when did you first like start making music yourself? Or let me ask you this, are you a music theory kid?
Partially only because I was in band. I was in band in middle school, 6th to 8th grade. I played the tuba. So I definitely feel like those principles like transferred over. But, you know, that was around the same time I started making beats too. So it was kind of like hand in hand, I feel like.
I only ask because I'm trying to myself learn music theory, having never really played an instrument ever. And it's a task. But yeah. I feel like though I feel like if I want to like talk to artists more, I feel like it's best if I learn how to, I don't know, speak their language in a sense.
I mean, it goes both ways, but there's a lot of talented people who know zero about music theory. They just trust their gut, they just trust their ear.
And I noticed that
and
too.
That's crazy, but it happens. But the thing is that, I mean, I feel like even if it's not to discuss music, it's just cool to know it, just because it's like, it really is. I mean, music really is a science. It's like, you know, there's a guideline to like the music theory. There's like certain chords that can make people feel a certain way, certain like, you know, ideas. So I mean, people get bits and pieces of that through experimenting and shit. But like to just learn it up front, you know, you'll definitely be good to go.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, I guess as like a journalist, I'm always focused on like the how of stuff. And like you said, you can hear something and it'll make you feel a certain way. And I guess I just want to be able to, whenever I say I like a song, I want to be able to be like, well, why do I like it? And stuff like that. Some real music nerd type shit, honestly.
Because once you realize that type of stuff, though, and you go back and listen to shit, I mean, because there'll be songs that, like, you know, I listened to in my youth that now that, you know, my ear is different, that I'll go back and listen to, and I'll still be catching stuff. It's like a song that I've heard, you know, 50, 60 times. You know, I might go back and listen to the Gorillaz album and catch some little mixing detail that I've never caught. So it changes the way you look at music. I
definitely agree with that. Just the other day, when I'm at work to make the time go by, I just listen to shit. But I just went back and listened to all of Tyler the Creator's discography. But I started backwards though.
Ooh. What's your favorite, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, right now I'd probably still have to say Igor. That'd probably be my number one. But my number two, which has changed over the years, would probably have to be Wolf. Ooh. And that's only because I went back and listened to it with different ears, knowing how he sonically would evolve, and just with my mature ears. And I'm like, wow, this is actually a really, really good album. Like, not even just from a concept wise, but just like sonically and the instruments that he's using and stuff like that. Really interesting. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, just one thing to add to what you're saying, though. I think it's cool with his discography, especially like starting with Igor and then listening backwards. It's like, the thing is I feel like even in Bastard and pre-Bastard stuff, like, I feel like there were always glimpses of what Igor would be like at different points in his career, but either because of, you know, maybe not knowing how to make it, or because of, you know, who he was, you know, earlier when he was being gritty, it was hard for him to like make some of the types of songs he was making now because the fans would like freak out and shit. So it's like, you know, just being comfortable and you know, and evolving musically is just like, yeah, I feel like Igor is definitely like the album that he was always working up to.
Yeah.
You know, always. But I think my favorite is probably and my favorite might be Wolf, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, because that's like, Yeah, definitely some of my favorite. Some of my favorite beats from him. I feel like it was like cool '90s hip hop, '90s R&B, balanced to like a lot of stuff. And then I definitely feel like it was an evolving point. I just feel like it was an interesting point in like his career. 100%.
I think about it. You ever seen Fight Club?
No, I've never seen Fight Club.
Wow.
I need to see it.
That's okay.
I didn't watch a lot. See, that's the thing too, is I didn't watch a lot of movies growing up. So like around when I was 19, like I started trying to watch like all the you must watch these movies. But Fight Club is one of those I haven't seen yet.
Wow. Okay. Well, it doesn't really have to do with the analogy I was gonna make, sort of, kind of. But I was just gonna be like, once you know how the movie ends and then you rewatch it, you look at different scenes differently. And that's how I was going to say Tyler's music is. Listening to Igor to know where he's at. You can look at all his other music, like you said, show glimpses. But you weren't a movie kid or nothing like that?
Nah, not too heavy, man. I was definitely like heavy with music. Heavy with music for like the longest time. And then, like I said, around the end of my teen years, I definitely started catching up with movies. But like it was definitely like video games, then music, then movies, then back to music as far as my interest went.
Yeah, I have a theory that like the music game now is probably most heavily influenced by anime.
Yes.
Tony Hawk.
Yes.
And WWE.
Yeah.
Those three things I feel like is just like if you listen to like every bar of every rapper now, it's a reference to one of those three things.
100%, man. That's just crazy.
But I was like, I think I come at music differently because before I was a music nerd, I was a movie nerd. I was all about like I'm still a movie snob today.
What are some of your favorite movies?
That's one of those questions you just can't like. I'll just
okay, what's some movies you enjoy?
Yeah. So like I have a favorite director. So I like Quentin Tarantino, obviously Martin Scorsese. I like a lot of David Fincher movies. That's the guy who did Fight Club. He did Gone Girl. And he does like the show on Netflix that I like. I'm typically, I don't know. I'd like to describe myself. I'm definitely like a music snob. I'm not a movie snob. Like I toot my nose up at like other people's favorite movies. Like I have a whole movie podcast where I basically shit on movies. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I can find the good. The fuck is that? I don't know what that was. But I can find the good and the bad in most movies, but I don't know. It's like I don't know. I have a love or hate relationship with a lot of movies. But I think that early movie influence, I typically, when I listen to music, I like where the music can make me like visualize a scene or a moment in a movie and stuff like that, just because that's typically when music would hit me the hardest, was in like I love trailers. Today, trailers are still the best thing ever to me because it's the best execution of music, editing.
Exactly what you're getting at.
All those type of things. So that's always been kind of my approach to music, is how it makes me visualize things.
I can dig it.
Yeah, but that's just me. And transitioning from one nerd to another type of nerd. It is what it is. But what would you say? I mean, you say video games. What video games in specific were some of the ones you think help mold your music influence?
The ones that help mold my music influence the most, I'd probably say motherfucking Mega Man Battle Network for the Game Boy Advance. I feel like did the most, just because they were like, first there was like 6 games in the series, but I only played like 3 to 6. But that was like, I don't know, it always had like a super like a super techno / like pop type influence, and that's definitely like something I feel like has rubbed off. And yeah, I'd definitely be making Mega Man type beats 110%. Like that's 110%. I feel like the game that like a lot of the sound traces back to.
Would you ever want to do like soundtrack for a video game?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yes, sir.
Dang, that would be dope. I really like that, the whole like transitioning, because people often forget about like those dudes get paid to, like people who make music for like commercials and stuff like that. Those dudes are making bank.
Yeah, I mean, it's just they'd be anonymous. See, that's the thing. It's like, with certain things in the music, it'd be like a trade-off of being like super known, or you can be like super in the background and get into the bag. Because yeah, like all the people, I mean, especially like commercials or TV shit, like that should be paying crazy. So yeah, 100%. People should focus on that a little more, honestly. I feel like, I mean, there's more, there's more shit like TV shows and random shit that needs music than there are people that need music. So it's like people just shouldn't be so limited and like, let me get to the single artist. Like there's so many avenues basically.
Yeah, and I guess like you said with the whole like, it's so like anonymous. A lot of people just don't even. It's one of those things that doesn't even cross your mind when you're thinking about let me get into music, because people would probably be really good at it, but they would never know because they just never try it. What were you like in school? I'm literally just like like a therapist.
So, yeah, no, that's cool though. In school, I was in school. I was a pretty good kid. The thing is that I would just get in trouble for like a lot of small dumb shit a lot, but I wasn't a bad kid like at all. But I would definitely just get in trouble for like
what
stupid
was the type
shit.
of stuff you would get in trouble for?
Like, let me tell you, in high school, I think something dumb happened every year. So I'll tell you. I know one year, me and my friends, we were into computer, we were into tech shit. So we figured out a way how to put. First, we were playing emulators. We just brought like Nintendo 64 emulator on a flash drive. We played Mario Kart in class. Like after we finished the little activities or whatever, we Mario Kart. So then we figured out a way how to put it on the like school drive, like school network. So no matter like what school computer you log onto, like if you know what file system to navigate, you can like get to the emulator. So the problem is that one, the teacher who saw us playing all the time snitched. But the problem was that because it was a .exe file, it technically could have been a fucking virus or whatever. So we got suspended on that, like putting the executable file on the school drive. So that had me out of school for a couple of days. One time I was about to skip and I didn't skip, and I was turning around. I didn't even leave the parking lot. I was turning around to go back to class. And then the officer saw me and he was like, "Oh, you're coming back from skipping, so you gotta get suspended." So I was like, "Damn, I didn't even skip for it." I literally would have been better off just leaving the campus because then I was trying to listen to my conscience and fucking got suspended. So yeah, just like random stupid shit like that would happen.
I don't know why, and I feel like this is probably a terrible trait, but I always have some sort of respect when people get in trouble and it's like over some like. Oh yeah, like I was like in the school's like mainframe or something like that. We had something like that in our school. Some kid got in trouble. He tried to, I think he was like changing grades. He had somehow got into like the teacher's like system where they.
And that was probably the fear. That honestly is the fear. Like even if we're doing little shit, they think like because it could lead to something big. But yeah. Yeah, it's still. But they knew it was Mario Kart, but it was still like it's the principle. Hating. They were literally hating, literally hating.
No, I've heard stories like that too. I remember even one kid. They said there's a story of this kid. He broke into his school, but he was literally doing it to show them that like, hey, you guys have a weakness and you guys are security, and they're like, nah. And then he broke into it and showed them like, see, told you, and they're like, oh, you're suspended.
Damn, swag.
Schools be hating.
They do be low key.
Were you? See, I've kind of like. Did you go to college?
Yeah, I did, but I dropped out.
Where'd you go?
I was at GSU.
Oh fuck yeah! I was at Georgia State as well, but I originally went to Georgia Southern, so I consider that the real GSU. But we won't get into that.
We won't get into that because you're wrong. But
yeah, no, I got to point. I recently just graduated last month, like literally a couple weeks ago.
Congrats.
Fuck all that.
Fuck all that shit.
But I appreciate it though. So I basically, towards the end of school for me, I was getting very like jaded towards the idea of just like, because I never understood when I was in high school and middle school and all that shit, and kids would have been like, bruh, this school shit lame, bruh, like this shit boring. Like I never got that. I was like, bro, like, school's not fun. It's not the best place to be, but it's like, I don't mind being here. So I never understood that. But it wasn't until like my last 2 years of college, especially when I came to Georgia State, it just became, every day was just like, why am I here? Like, what am I doing here? And did you ever get to that point? Is that? That's
exactly why I dropped out. Because, it's like, it would be like, this is what it would be. Because around, by 2013, 2014. I was like finally, that was like my freshman and sophomore year. You know, I was finally starting to see like a tiny bit of progress, like in my music shit. So like I would just be in class, like super excited, thinking about, you know, the potential opportunities and shit. Cause like, I mean, I got hooked up with my homie Marvel Alexander, who stays out in California. But you know, he was like in a little mix. You know, he was talking about how like he got in good with Gold Link and was potentially gonna like open for him. So I mean, there was like a whole bunch of like opportunities and buzzing. So I was like, you know, I'd be in class just thinking about that, you know, and be like, you know, I'm here bored. And like now is a time where there are actual opportunities, and I feel like I'm playing myself if I don't at least see about it. Because it's like I can always re-enroll, but I won't always be in this position, is the way that I felt like back then. So yeah, 100%.
So looking back at it, how would you have even went at all, knowing what you know now?
I still would have went, because I mean, like that social aspect is like definitely no joke, and just the experience of living, because you know I stayed in the suburbs like my whole life, so like living in the city was cool for a little bit, and then you know definitely like some of the people that I met, you know, my freshman year, I'm still like hooked up with now, so it definitely like it built a foundation like 100%. So I mean, I definitely think it was necessary in the story, but I definitely like, you know, like skipping class and wanting to work on music and shit, you know, I was like, there's no point in me procuring more debt / letting my GPA drop if I'm not taking it seriously at all.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on the whole social aspect. That's one of the things I was always saying, like, if I ever kids, I would never homeschool them, because I'm like, there's a part of going to school that really like teaches you about life.
It's because it's like you meet. Do you want to let her ring or
Oh yeah, no, it's fine. My assistant will get it. My mom is gonna be like, "What?"
Oh man, but no, the thing is that, you know, it's like let me backtrack.
Social aspect.
Aspect of school. Yeah, the thing is that it's like a bunch of different types of personality. Like really, every type of person that, you know, you can imagine, depending on how diverse your school is, but definitely by college. But let's say the entire school aspect, you're gonna make a whole bunch of different personalities, and like in the real world, all there is just humans with personalities. It's like it's better to meet the personality types and learn them earlier and get familiar and learn how to flow with them in the earlier aspect of your life, because you're gonna, when you meet someone when you're 30 and you're 40, it's like their personality, they're just older. It's like, you know, so that's the thing. I definitely think it's important.
Yeah, I don't condone bullying, but I would say I understand.
Yeah, you can't condone it, but it's also like it's a real world.
It teaches you a real lesson.
Like
there are assholes out here
that don't care, bro.
Yeah, and they don't like you, and you have to learn how to navigate a world with these people. Either learn how to stay out of their way, either learn how to de-escalate or escalate, whatever you end up doing.
Whatever works.
You know, but you just have to have those. It's like an immune system. You know, you got to build up a.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know what you got to prepare for if you never face it. 100%.
Exactly. But like I said, like I definitely am big though on the whole. It's going to school to get that network, because my big thing I would like to like get people to understand is how to not let school use you, and how to like use school. Because I'm realizing now, like I'm like the importance of like leveraging relationships and stuff like that. It's super important, and I'm just realizing that I have relationships with people that I didn't even. I mean, I'm not gonna say like I didn't care about them in high school or whatever, but it's just like we were just people who went to school together. It was just that. But now I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh wow, like you're doing this thing and I'm doing this thing, and like I don't know, it's just it's real good that you build up that network easily, like you say, and it's just a good foundation. But no, I fucking hated GSU though. But like I said, it was that whole thing. You're just sitting in class. I wouldn't recommend going to school, with college at least, if you have a plan. If you already know what you want to do,
and that's true too,
and you know how you want to do it,
that's true too,
then I think it won't hurt you. Unless, I mean, well, let me take that back, because I should always come from the standpoint, I was blessed to I didn't have to pay for school. So my outlook on things is very like, because I only finished because it was free. Had I had to pay, I probably would have well, I don't know. A lot of things would be different.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you are not financially burdened to not have to go to school, then I mean, I guess you might as well do it. But if it's like in your way for that, and you already have a plan of doing whatever you want to do, it's like, don't waste your time.
Basically, man, 100%. Because I mean, honestly, you know, the time after high school, it's really just college. For a lot of people, like right after high school is just the time for them to figure out, you know, that's the thing. Like some people, but you know, they switch majors 2 or 3 times when they're in school, because it's just like, you know, that you're transitioning into adulthood. You really do got to figure out like how you want to spend the whole next, you know, portion of your life, basically. So, you know, it is just a transitionary period, 100%. And if you already know what you're gonna do, then you don't have to throw yourself into that. But you know, it definitely has its benefits. And it does have its detractors, you know, depending on where you're at.
What was your major when you were in?
I was a film major.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What did you want to do?
I wanted to be a cinematographer.
Really?
Yeah, I'm still
you
interested.
You weren't even the guy who was in the movies, and now all of a sudden you wanted to be That's crazy.
Because that's the thing. It's like, you know, like I said, in the tail end of my teen years, I started like catching. I literally like, because I think like maybe when I was, I don't know, like 17, 16, like when there was still a like Blockbuster right next to my house. Maybe, yeah, it was like one of the last Blockbusters. Like it was still a Blockbuster next to my house. Like I think I rented like Napoleon Dynamite. It's like I felt like, you know, that was one of those movies like people are like, when there's, oh, you gotta see movies. So like that's literally where it started. You know, I was like, okay, let me see this one. And I was like, okay, that was pretty funny. And then, you know, I just started checking out random things, critically acclaimed, you know, / must see, like Pineapple Express, Superbad. Superbad's definitely one of my favorite movies, but it was pretty funny. But, you know, so yeah, it definitely transitioned. And I appreciate film though. I mean, because it's like, you know, like you're saying, tracing back, I do feel like it goes hand in hand with music, where it's like, you know, I feel like that is definitely like an aim. Like when I make beats, I go into it like, what scene does this sound like? You know, like what image does this paint in my head? And I definitely try to only make sticking to that. I feel like pushes crazy stuff, because if I started out and be like, okay, what would a party at, you know, a club in some far off place in the solar system sound like? Then you make it and you be like, that alien party would sound pretty cool. And then you play it for someone else and they be like, yo, it sounds like some futuristic alien shit. I'm fuck with it. And you know, that's just how it goes.
Do you see yourself still like doing that, pursuing that in the future, as far as the cinematography and film?
Maybe. I don't know when, because I'm thinking about potentially restarting it this year, but then the other part of me is like, nah, I might need to focus. But yeah, definitely down the line, I would like to, because, you know, I was filming like music videos and stuff at a point, so I think I might bring it back, you know, to start incorporating it and maybe shooting just different music I'm working on.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The perfect blend with that would be the music videos. I would love to see someone bring back the whole like Michael Jackson-esque like movie type music videos, where it's like a whole like, oh, we're acting this first part out and then we break out into the music video and so called and so forth. Not putting any pressure on you or anything.
Oh no, but that's dope though.
It'd be cool if you did that.
No shit. Facts. I might have to run that.
So but when you were in school though, you mentioned like the music and stuff was really starting. So talk to me about that, when you really started like buckling down. Like what made you want to start taking it seriously?
Man, I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, it's like it was progressing, but like the single thing that made me like take it seriously, I mean, because there's definitely like small things here and there that'd be like, you know, I could really do this. Like when I started DJing, like the first time I DJ'd live, it was like pretty cool, and I was like, you know what, maybe I want to do this forever. But like I had a acid trip like early into my sophomore semester, and that like really, like that 100%, I was like, I know for a fact all I want to do is creative shit for the rest of my life. And like that was like one of the main like epiphanies I got right when it happened. And then like 2 or 3 days later, I went to a trip to New York, and that like it wasn't even for no music shit. It was just me and my friends. We had never been to New York before, so we went for a couple of days, and like those two things back to back were like, you know, like, one, I want to do this, and two, you know, if I do it to the best of my ability, you know, I can do whatever I want. So it's definitely like a driving principle in it.
Damn, I've always heard about the power that can come from a good trip on, well, vacation and acid.
Definitely both.
I myself am what people would call a pussy, so I have not worked up the confidence to do that yet.
You got to one day, or shrooms are a little lighter, but I recommend it at least once. You know?
It's definitely something I will say. I'm open-minded towards the idea of it. I have to come. I realize it's one of those things you have to come into with a easy mind, and I'm a very like.
But I'll tell you this: it teaches you the power of the mind, because it's like. Because it teaches you the power of the mind, because if one negative thing comes into your mind, like the whole experience might shift left in that second. But then if all you do is think, yo, I'm tripping, I'm like really cool. Or it could be something as simple as, because like there's be times where I'll be DJing, you know, while tripping, and like I might, you know, I might chop and screw a song, and like,
oh my God.
And maybe like one of the frequencies, like, you know, maybe at one point it sounds cool, but then I slow it down too much and it starts sounding freaky. And so, you know, you literally just like throw on something happy sounding, and it'll like snap you out. And that's literally like, you know, through meditating a whole bunch recently, that's like a principle I've started getting back to. Like, you know, at any moment, you really can just like shift your focus and like bring yourself out of any mood. So like, I feel like, you know, tripping like takes your brain like to full blast, basically, like without any limits. This is what it feels like. And then you can take whatever lessons or principles you get when it fades off in a couple hours or whatever.
Yeah. Hold that story about the tripping while DJing, because we're gonna get back to that. But I don't want to detour this nice little vibe we're on right now. But see, you talk about that, and I've been real big on the self-help books now. Audiobooks, like I said, I don't read as by the picture book, but
it's a 5-picture book, by the way.
Yeah, I've been real big on the self-help, and it's been kind of in those same principles of just that understanding that you are in control of your emotions and your feelings about things. You ever heard of the book called The 4 Agreements?
I've heard of it. I haven't read it though.
Yeah, I can't remember all 4. There's only 4 of them, and I can't remember them. But one of the principles, though, is that it was explaining, though, was simply that a lot of the fears and insecurities and stuff that you project onto people or situations are just that. They're just things that you've made up in your head.
Literally.
And I've almost kind of gotten to this point now where I can like I used to always like overanalyze. I still overanalyze things a lot, but when it would come to my relationships with people, I would do things and then I would be like, oh damn, they're probably not gonna like that, and that's gonna cause them to feel like this, and then they're gonna blah, da, 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 da.
But the thing about that is that you thinking that they're not gonna like it and it's gonna cause all this, you might start acting in a way that's finna you know, make, because you can think, oh damn, I'm making them feel weird, so then you start acting weird, and then they're like, yo, this nigga acting weird.
But now I've learned to, now I catch myself. I still let it sleep through, but now I start to catch myself when I'll get in situations like, say, you know, I'll send a text message and I don't get a response back, as opposed to my mind would typically go to like, oh damn, she probably read that shit, not fucking with me, or she's da 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 da. I acknowledge, I stop myself right there and say, you're making this up. Like you don't know what she's, and I think that's one of the 4 agreements, is to not assume, never make assumptions.
Facts.
And that's the thing. I was just like, I have no idea what's going on the other side of this phone. Anything could literally be going on.
Sure, you just be asleep.
Exactly. Yeah. But you know, we know that's not. But yeah, no, I'm real big on the self-help stuff, because I get on this shit all the time, but just the importance of being able to being okay with being not okay is, I feel like, a thing that a lot of people have problems with or struggle with. Is just because one of the books I've read, they describe like the feedback loop, and that's when say you feel bad about something, but then you realize like, oh damn, like this is kind of pointless, I shouldn't feel bad. So then you feel bad about feeling bad, and now you feel even worse, and you just continue down that cycle, and it just spirals out of control. But I've just been learning to be like, oh, it's okay to be upset. Like I can allow myself time to be upset and stuff like
Facts.
that.
It's powerful stuff to start realizing, man.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's like, you know, at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, you know, not to sound corny, but we really do just like have ourselves. And even beyond that, I mean, you really are just a body and the mind and thoughts and soul. So it's really like, you know, the quicker that you learn how to make comfort at your base level of just you as your mind or whatever, like, the easier everything else gets. Because it's like, you know, like I said, if we had nothing else in this world and it was literally just grass, it would just be us and, you know, our thoughts and shit. So it's like, you know, that's the only thing that once you have that figured out, everything else is easy. Because it's like, that's what everything loops back to, is like our feelings and shit.
Are you good at being alone with your thoughts? Are you good with just sitting in a room and just being like, because I'm still working on it. I can't just like sit and do nothing.
I'm working on it, but I mean, I definitely yeah, that's been honestly, like, I feel like a journey that I've been on over the past like several years. But like I said, the second half of 2019, like, I 100% like doubled down on it. So yeah, I mean, honestly, be on some like monk shit, you know, just be like kicking it by myself, like really thinking and just reflecting and shit. But yeah, I just feel like it's necessary, just because for me personally, you know, I felt like I was on autopilot for like way too long. So I feel like, you know, I had to like reel it back and, you know, just like center myself, you know, find myself, so to speak.
Yeah.
But it definitely, just be kicking it.
Yeah. I mean, self-awareness is big too, to be able to look at yourself in a situation and be like, dang, this isn't right for me, or this isn't what I would like to be doing. And some people never realize that and just continue on autopilot their whole lives.
True.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah. So, DJing on acid. Well, before we get to that, let's talk about how we would get there. So, when did you first start DJing?
Started DJing. That's the thing I was trying to think about the other day, because I want to say, like, I think I started DJing by, because I had a desktop computer. It was like in high school. I think like my my junior or senior year when I was in high school. I think like just wanting to learn how to chop and screw, because I listened to a whole bunch of chop and screw shit. I would I download Virtual DJ and I just mess around with it for like a hot second. And then like the first time DJing live though, I think I just messed around for like years in like my dorm and stuff. And then like 2-3 years later, when I was in college, my friends had an art show. Some people that I met like my freshman year, they had an art show and they let me DJ, and that was pretty cool. And then like I said, after that it went like really well, and then I was like, damn, I kind of want to do this forever. So I've just been DJing ever since.
And are you typically, I mean, I know a lot of it's reading the crowd, but do you typically come in with like pre-made sets, or are you just like, you go there and feel out the vibe and play what needs to be played?
Freestyle, fill out the vibe, 100%. Like, I mean, I feel like at this point, just because, you know, I've kind of built up my library, you know, I definitely have like go-tos depending on the situation, but a lot of it is just freestyling, reading the crowd. But half of it, I mean, I feel like, you know, definitely reading the crowd's important, but the other part is trying to surprise the crowd. Is like, that's what I try to do a lot when I DJ. Is like, what way can I completely like left turn this, but still keep them with me? You know, I try to think of it as a roller coaster, or it's like, you know, I might be playing a 21 Savage song and then mix it into like some fucking Keith Sweat, or mix it into some or mix it into like a Jersey Club remix of like some 80s R&B or just some random shit. Is like, yeah, definitely think about it left and turn, because like I said, it traces back to when I started getting into DJing live and in front of people for the first time. You know, I was listening to like, you know, the DJs I was finding on SoundCloud and like Cashmere Cat and shit. So like, Yeah, it traces back to that 100%. Just trying to juxtapose shit.
Do you have like a daily process or a process in which you look for new music?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it definitely is. I mean, I try to keep it like free flowing, where I just like, if it comes to me, it comes to me. But yeah, I'll definitely, like, if I'm on Twitter, you know, I won't check every SoundCloud link. Definitely not at all. But I'll literally just stop scrolling and be like, I've never heard a song from this person. Let me see what they're talking about. Or if like, you know, someone follows me and I've never heard of them, just check it. Check the song. Or if I'm on Instagram and someone tags someone else or screenshots a song, I'll go look it up. Someone drop. I mean, yeah, just, you know, I realize you can't listen to every single thing that comes out. So I literally will just, anytime I come across something, you know, just try to see about it. If I'm in a music listening mood, though, it's like, it definitely, I'm not always in the mood to find new shit. But when I am, I'll just sit and let it filter and be like, oh, this cover looks kind of cool. Let me see what they're talking about.
Now, recently, I've met a couple of DJs over the past couple of months, or I've heard a few DJs that surprisingly don't like the nightlife. Like, they don't like going out. Like, it's just...
True.
It's just... Yeah, would you consider yourself to be in that category?
100%. Yeah, if I'm not DJing, I really don't go out. Yeah, 100%. Which is weird, but it is how it is, man.
Yeah, I literally hate going out as well, which is so terrible because that's where I usually have to like meet people and all this type of thing.
It's important though. So it's a balance, but I mean, I really
yeah,
it's a balance though.
I'm one of the things I hate the most is when like they advertise things as like, oh, this is like a mixing and mingling type of event, but then you go and the music is so loud that it's like, how is anybody supposed to have a conversation here? Like,
facts.
But I don't know. I hate going out. For me, that's what going to Georgia Southern did for me. It just made me hate going to parties because it's literally all there is to do down there.
True. My sister goes to school down there.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but like great school, just terrible area.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
Yeah, just not much to do. But yeah. So, but typically though, when you DJ, what is your... I guess you could say the surprise, because most guys, they typically they pride themselves on their blending skills. Some guys pride themselves on their, you know, the moments they create. What would you say for you is your defining characteristic as a DJ?
My defining characteristic is definitely, I mean, yeah, it's the surprise element, keeping people on their toes, because I've definitely, you know, I feel like I've gotten the technical skill up enough to like, you know, where I can create a pretty, you know, where I can read the room and create, you know, keep it at a good pace and, you know, play stuff that people want to hear. But then, you know, like I said, I feel like I definitely shine on the surprise aspect where it's like throwing in what they didn't know they wanted to hear. You know, like a song. That's the thing is like, it's, you know, I might throw in like a Lil Dragon or like a Tame Impala song in the mix. And then, you know, it's like someone who was listening who maybe didn't know all the rap shit I was playing, when they hear like some indie shit, they're like, oh shit, that's crazy. You would play that? And I'm like, yeah, you know, that's what it's about. So I definitely try to like balance it out.
You ever had any shows that were kind of like that didn't go over well? The crowd wasn't responding? What's one of the weirdest, awkwardest shows you've ever had?
The awkwardest was probably
or the most awkward? I don't know.
The most. Let's see. There's two of them. Well, there was one where I was just you know, I'm not even gonna cap. There's been a couple times where I've just been a little bit too faded. You know, I might be messing up, but like I'll say it wasn't even bad awkward, but like I just played like some shit. Like it was like an office holiday party for like some like doctors, like radiologists and shit, and like, you know, they were saying like they wanted mad 80s shit, so I downloaded, you know, a whole bunch of 80s shit I thought was jiggy, but it was a whole bunch of black 80s shit. Like it was a whole bunch of like old white people and shit. So like, you know, it was definitely grooving, and the people who knew what I was playing was enjoying it. But some people, you know, straight up like, you know, I thought everybody in the 80s was listening to, you know, Prince and Michael Jackson, but they probably wanted to hear some Madonna and, you know, some shit. You know, I had to forget, you know, remember they were separated a little bit back then. So things, you know, weren't always as swirly.
So you're getting into DJing, you're the guy with surprises. Then one day you decide to drop the biggest surprise of people of them all by dropping a tab before you go up. So just walk me through that whole night, because this honestly sounds like a day and a half.
Honestly, a day and a half. Well, no, it wasn't. I was just hanging out.
That's usually how it happens.
No. I mean, I don't think I don't know. I've definitely DJ'd pretty faded. I don't know if it's ever been acid like live in front of people. Like, I think the acid time, I was just in the house just playing stuff. Probably, but I've definitely been pretty sauce. Definitely in multiple ways, but.
I've learned that even with all the stuff that you think you can really like do very well, it's when you have to like perform, and then they're like, damn, because I can't really do this when I'm too gone, because like I'll get caught up in like just listening to what someone's saying. I'll be like, oh shit, I have to come up with a question after this. Because your typical response in that state is to just be like, oh, word, or like, crazy, it's crazy. But it's like, damn, I have to like keep a whole show going here. But yeah, like I said, being the president of the Kenny Mason fan club, tell me a little bit how you came together with all those guys. How did you meet them?
Well, let's see. For Kenny, I think it was like a year and a half ago. Like a year and a half ago. I want to say I might have hit him out the blue and like just sent some beats over, because I was like seeing his stuff on the timeline, because I've been following David X for a second. So I think just the David X, I came across some of Kenny's music and sent him some beats. And we did like 2 or 3 songs that ended up never coming out. They were just, in the cut or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then, I think I ran into him at, and then, just seeing him around town at shows. But Jelani and David, I don't know exactly how I first came across them. Probably just
showed up.
They really did just pop like. But definitely, just seeing them, just seeing everybody around at shows and shit. And one thing that I always do is, like I just said, I sent some stuff to Kenny back then. And then when I found out about David and Jelani, I started sending them packs. It's like anyone who I think is cool or can make cool music or has the potential to one day make cool music, I'll just like send beats to them. So like, that's all I was saying as far as, just checking the timeline and always scoping out for like random people. Cause that's the thing. It's like, it might be someone who only has like 100 followers or some shit, like 50 plays or some shit, but they got, the craziest potential where it's like, if someone focuses in on them and, helps them hone the sound up, it's going to get crazier and crazier. So I definitely like, I've had situations in the past where like I've been around people who would go to do great things, and like I didn't send them beats or be as heavy or persistent back then. So like, now I feel like if I think someone has some tight shit, I'll definitely try to reach out, send them a pack. So yeah, it's just coming across their stuff and I want to rock with it.
I'm the same way. I mean, that's how we got here today.
Thank you.
I mean, when I come across people that I'm just like, I look at everything that I do as kind of like an investment 10 years in the future. Everything. Well, not everything, but most things that I do.
That's how it goes though.
Yeah, because I mean, it's just like when I take pictures of people, when I interview them, I'm like, this person could literally blow up tomorrow. And it's not even like on no like, oh, I knew him first. Well,
right.
Let me be honest. There's a side of like there's like a 25% of everything that I do. I love what is it? I think it's some Kanye line, but it's like we do stuff just to be like, you ain't up on this.
Facts.
So there is a part of me just to be like, oh, I was up on Benny before, But mostly it's just because like I just love that story. I just love I really, when I appreciate something, I want to just watch it grow.
Yeah.
So yeah, I very much relate to that. Let's see. When did you start, like, what is that process like for you, like approaching artists to give them, is it all mostly just like you just shoot a DM, or is it, do you go into the studio and build with people? Like, what is it typically like for you when you're working with an artist?
It just depends. It's like some people, I mean, 'cause that's the thing, it's different strokes for different folks. Like some people, might record themselves at home or like have a home set up, so they'll be like a little bit more comfortable to record on stuff. Some people might bounce studio to studio, so they'll prefer to be in person type thing, or just catching them at the right time. type deal. So, I definitely just let it be a little bit of both. Whatever way it can connect with people, because it's like, just on some like random shit. That's what I was talking about on Twitter once, but like on some random shit, like, the way Atlanta is set up is like, you really might just like visit your friend and like someone that they have over, like in like 24 months later will be like the biggest thing to like ever happen. So like just on some random shit, like that. And like I said, being in situations like that, I always think about it as like, where you never know what could happen. It's like, so might as well just just try to make music with whoever's making Fi Ship.
Yeah, I definitely feel that. So I have like a recurring question that I like to ask a lot of my guests on here. So if somebody was to listen to this and be inspired by the Popstar Benny story, and they see a little bit of themselves in you, and want to go down your path, what advice would you give to them?
The advice that I would give to them is to be very deliberate with your very deliberate with your plan, very deliberate with your actions, very deliberate with your thoughts, very deliberate with your intentions. Just to just don't do shit just to do it, because it's like there's only, well, I won't say that, but I'll just say there's only like so much time, like I said, not to be head ass or corny or whatever, but there is only so much time that we have, so it's like you might as well use it. And that's the thing, it's nothing wrong with the intention to be like, I'm gonna do this just because it's fun, but like I said, just don't do shit for like no reason. Just be conscious of why you're doing shit. Yeah, that's real. So, well, I mean, you just dropped a 2020 EP, but what exactly are you looking forward to this year? And this year, I'm just trying to make the greatest music possible. Trying to help make the greatest music possible. 110%. That's the foundation to everything. And then just just keep the Popstar FM operation growing. Oh yeah, I guess I talked a little bit about that. I mean, I completely glossed over that, but that it's like a well, I say it's like a creative agency basically, where it's like an umbrella for like side projects and side things. But the main thing that people know it for is like the music releases, and that's something where like like I was saying, like when I first found SoundCloud, there were these collectives and shit like Selection, and being on the like Lucky Me, and just different small startup indie labels where they were releasing shit that they thought was cool. And I like always thought that was pretty cool. So yeah, that's just my my take on it. Just scouting out music that I hope, like when back in the day when I would be up on the internet like at 2 a.m. and would stumble across some shit, like trying to create a space for people, like a space for that basically. And what is the like overall goal, would you say, like for the artists who work under it or in it? The overall goal is just for them to be exposed to a new audience, because it's like I definitely feel like with the range of like releases we've had, I'll definitely just check the app and see like a notification that maybe someone started listening and like 2 songs on EP from Turtles or something, but then they go on like a Danger Inc. song, or then go on like just someone new that they never heard. So just seeing people find out about new people in the entryway is like something that I appreciate and like about it, and think that it traces back to. All right. The people love it. The people absolutely love it. Well, Benny, I really want to appreciate you for coming out here, man. Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me. I guess you want to give the people your socials and all of that good stuff. At Popstar Benny on SoundCloud, Instagram, Twitter. At popstar.fm on Instagram, popstar underscore FM on Twitter, and Popstar FM on SoundCloud. Yeah, that's
Boom.
Everything. Boom.
There you got it. You want to give them your LinkedIn and all that stuff too? Your social security, all that?
No.
All right. Well, thank you once again to Benny, and I want to thank you guys for listening. That is going to do it for this episode of the Snooze Button Special. Tune in next time where I'm going to have somebody sitting in Benny's seat and I'm going to be annoying them with questions. So thank you for listening. Have a good one.